welcome back to my channel. We are going to be doing some Gelx today. We have my lovely client right here. This is her second time getting Gelx and she absolutely loves it. And I'm happy about it because she's happy about it. I definitely love Gelx. Gelx is my new favorite thing. So if you guys haven't tried Gelx already, definitely recommend to do so. But if you are a DIY, if you like to DIY your nails, definitely recommend being very, very careful with these products, just because if you are not and you under cure and things like that, you could have potential to become allergic to it if you are not taking the proper steps and you are using the proper equipment to do your nails at home. So definitely make sure to invest in a really, really good light if you guys are DIYing your nails, because you really want to make sure that the light is strong enough to penetrate through the nail and get it nice and cured. So right here, what I am doing is, first off, I like to make sure to prep the nails, removing any of that dead skin. This client in particular, I do feel like she does get a lot of dry skin around her cuticles, so even doing cuticle work on her is so satisfying to me. I love it, and she loves it too. She always is so excited once it is finally done, because a lot of places in my area, if you were to walk in, they don't really do cuticle work. So she definitely enjoys coming, getting her cuticles cleaned up, and getting a new set on. So, of course, I like to take extra care of them, making sure to get everything up and out of the way. And the reason why that is so important, because you don't want premature lifting. Any of that leftover dead skin, it will end up making it lift earlier. So definitely recommend taking your time on this. And honestly, the more time you take on this, I feel like the better it looks. So even if you're doing your nails at home, definitely recommend not to skip anything on this. If you guys are somebody who is new to this, definitely recommend kind of inching your way into using an e-file, which is the drill right here. An e-file is just a short term for electric file. But I definitely recommend kind of easing your way into it, not getting overly confident with it, because you have potential to damage your nails. I mean, some people, they are better at using little things like this in general, but I mean, if you guys are somebody who's, I don't know, don't feel like super confident, and if you feel like you're over filing, or if it's getting hot, definitely recommend to kind of just take your time with it, you know, like allow yourself to learn it, just because if you don't, you will damage your nails. And honestly, with Gelx, it does have heat spikes in it. So with that being said, if you have the heat spikes in it and your nails are super, super, super thin, or if you're somebody who likes to yank off your nails or anything like that, you are going to feel the heat spikes. Or if you just have thin nails in general, you are going to feel the heat spikes more than other. I have some people that they have such a high pain tolerance, they don't even notice it. But yeah, so just keep that in mind if you do plan on doing this. The heat spikes, honestly, me personally, I feel like they hurt me so much. I have to do little mini flash cures with them, no longer than 5 seconds, and that helps me tremendously. So now that I went ahead and cleaned up her cuticles, I'm going in with my dehydrator. I know a lot of people are saying lately that you don't need a dehydrator, but I always like the dehydrator, especially because I have some clients that they like to run their fingers across the tops of their nails, and so this kind of just helps for a little bit of backup. And honestly, it only takes a little while longer to put it on. I also before this, I like to wipe them down with my alcohol, and the reason why I like to do that is so I could clean all the dust and debris out of the little nooks and crannies of her cuticles, just because sometimes it gets stuck in there, and this allows me to kind of like clean up a little bit more, and application seems like a lot better when I do that. So that's something that I've been doing that is new, that I actually really enjoy. I just like seeing it, and I feel like when I do that, they don't end up having to go and wash their hands. A lot of times I know people ask me, like, you don't have your clients wash their hands and after like I'm done filing and stuff, and the reason is no, because a lot of times, even though I have them go and wash them, they don't wash them good enough in the cuticle area where all the dust and debris is gone, so it ends up kind of just being a waste of time. I end up having to wipe them down anyways. So yeah, so I mean, with me, I definitely, this is the way I've been doing it, and this is what works for me. Now I'm going to go ahead and get these neutral tips. These are, I believe, in Lila, and if I need to correct it, they'll definitely be linked down below for you guys. But these are the almond ones, the rounded nails. I love these, honestly, with the round shape coming to trend. I definitely feel like these are the bomb. Like, every time I use these, I am so in love with them. I feel like the shape of them is perfect. You literally have to do minimal shaping to them, and I love that. So I'm gonna go ahead and size these. I like to go from sidewall to sidewall and put them on, and I love that they're pre-colored too, because I don't know, I just feel like it makes my job so much easier, and I don't have to bulk up the nail by adding a ton of layers of product on them. So the fact that they're already nude, but since they are nude, you guys need to make sure that you are curing these and making sure that it goes completely through the nails, because since they have pigment on them, what happens is that pigment doesn't allow it to penetrate through, and sometimes you might end up being left with some spots that are uncured, which that is not good for the client. So that's why when I am doing this, a lot of times with everything that I do, I always have it on 30 seconds, and sometimes I'll even do 60 seconds, but majority of the time is 30 to 60 seconds. This, I will put them in the lamp for 90 seconds, and I'll have it go twice if I have time. So the more, the merrier, you know, because you want to make sure that it is penetrating and is getting in there. So I usually, even with these, even with curing them down, I actually have the light even closer to them, what I usually have doing the clear tips. Because the clear tips, I'm able to have the light a little bit further away and still penetrate through the nail and things like that. But right here, you guys, I am going to go ahead and I am prepping the inside of the tips. Before, I know you guys, if you guys watched the videos before, I used to use that little etching liquid to do the inside of the nails and make the cuticle flush. But now this is my favorite way of doing it. The reason why I like this so much is because I feel like they adhere so much better, and you don't have any of that funky stuff happening where it's like you didn't etch enough and it starts lifting, and then you have to recure and resize the tip and just all of that. I feel like it's a big old mess. So doing this saves me time and accidents. I don't need accidents, especially when I already know how it's going to come out. And so I don't know, I feel like it's like I don't even want to kind of hassle with that. But now I'm going to go ahead and put the gel in there. I use the Extend gel. For all of my clients, I do use the regular one. Unless they are sensitive to the product, I will end up using the sensitive one. I use the sensitive one on myself, and that's what works for me, just because my skin, it can't handle the gold bottle, which is the regular one. So, and even when I am doing these, you guys will notice that I actually hold these down, and I know you aren't able to see the light, but I hold them down under the light until the light turns off. So these, they take a little while longer to apply than the other Gelx. But the reason why I like them is because, I mean, I like to use the builder gels on top of them just because I love the color and I love how they self-level and everything. And I love the opaqueness of them. But the only, like, I don't know, I feel like it's like it ends up averaging out kind of the same time, just because since I do have to hold it underneath the light for that whole entire time. So, I mean, but I feel like application-wise, these look a lot better to me. But you guys could see how pretty her fingers look with these. And I feel like with the length of these, she is actually able to get away with having a longer length on her nails, because I feel like a lot of times we would do square on her, and when we would do square on her, I feel like she had to go shorter than this. So, because I feel like when the nails either taper or they round out at the ends, I don't know what it is, but I feel like when my clients have it like this, I feel like they don't really have to worry too much about, sorry guys, I'm having a brain fart. Sorry guys, the last two videos, I have been like thinking way too much, and I just have my mind running through a whole bunch of things. I'm currently in my nail room and I'm looking at the things that I need to do in here, and it's driving me nuts. So, and I've been wanting to like kind of remodel my room a little bit, so it has been a mess. So please bear with me. But yeah, so whatever I was talking about, let's scratch that. But yeah, so I mean, this way definitely I feel like it does average out on time wise, but I enjoy doing it this way because I do feel like they lay flatter. You don't have to build up the nails and make them look a lot more thicker. And even though you don't have to build up the color and things like that, they still have the same amount of strength. I know some people, they think adding the layers of gel is going to make it stronger, and depending on what products you use, it has the capability of doing that, but not all gels build the thickness of them and add strength. So yeah, that is just kind of my thought on that. But yeah, so I definitely really want to make sure that I do the tips all the way to the end and the gel all the way to the end, making sure that it flows all the way to the tip of her natural nail. Okay, now it's time for shaping. Honestly, the only thing that I do is making sure that I go in just a little bit more and shape the edge, and making sure I get off that little tab that's usually at the end of any gel extension. I feel like they pretty much all have them, but I like to remove that, and I like to shape them better to kind of the shape of her fingers. And so I'll kind of bring in the sides just a little bit and then clean up the edge of it, and making sure that it is all perfectly shaped and round. But you guys could see how fast I'm actually going through this because they are already pre-shaped. I love that. I know some people ask, like, should I just get one tip and shape it into any shape that I want, or should I buy all the different tips? And honestly, I definitely recommend buying all the different tips. The reason being is because I feel like if you cut some of the nails down too much, they have a little bit more flex to them, and when you cut them, you're kind of compromising the shape and the structure of them, and I feel like they're more prone to breaking. Next, I'm going to go ahead and go in with this bit right here, and I'm going to go ahead and link it down below. Everything is going to be linked down below for you guys, so if you guys are an at-home nail tech or anything like that, I do have different sections that will help you, so definitely recommend checking those out. This bit, it has more of that right angle, so it gets up in the cuticle area, but again, you guys, if you are a beginner nail tech, or if you are a DIYer, be careful with this one, because if you dig too deep and too hard, you will cut through their natural nail. It has that right edge, and you need to be very, very careful with this. There is other bits that are safety bits where they round out at the edge, but I do find that that doesn't get in there as good for me. I mean, you're able to do it maybe if you get like kind of something a little bit smaller, not as thick of round as this one is. But yeah, so something that you notice me doing is I am actually pushing back the cuticle in some spots if the gel had seeped out a little bit. I like to kind of separate the gel from the skin, and I like to go in and kind of smooth it out and making sure that I am not cutting them. So pulling back the skin allows me to kind of have that clearance that I need to be able to get in there and get everything nice and smooth. So when her nails grow out, it looks nice and seamless. It doesn't look like clumps of gel or anything like that. Alright guys, now I'm going to go ahead and go in and buff, and there's no rhyme or reason how I do this. I just make sure that it's all nice and buff so the product can adhere properly to it and there is no peeling while she is out and about and things like that. Just because if you end up putting a gel product over on top of this without buffing, the client's nails will peel and have problems and things like that, and you will definitely be getting that text message of them telling you what is going on with their nails. So definitely recommend getting a buffer, buff it out, and removing all that shine. You guys, something, I know a lot of people, they have been getting into Gelx and doing it at home, but yeah, I just really want to touch base on just protecting yourself, again, just because if you end up making yourself allergic to the product, what ends up happening is that you will no longer be able to even wear these. So definitely recommend being very, very careful. I know Gelx is typically marketed to DIYers and things like that, but having the knowledge to be able to do this safely and effectively and have them last and things like that. Some people, they might think, oh, like you're making a big deal about it. It's not that big of a deal. But you guys, I overexposed myself to products and now I'm unable to have nails on. Unless lately I've been actually being able to dabble into some gel products that I'm actually able to have. But you guys, if you guys are doing this at home, be mindful of that. Even if it has to look like your nails are grown out a little bit until you perfect getting it perfect by the cuticle area, by all means do that, because I've had clients where they couldn't afford no longer to get their nails done, so they opted to the Gelx. They started doing that at home, and now they are actually allergic to the product, and they aren't even able to have the Gelx. So, and they've been asking me different questions on what they can do to help themselves. And honestly, I mean, if the sensitive gel doesn't work for you, unfortunately, I haven't even been able to find something that even works for me other than my simple little gel nails. So, I mean, I'm hoping that maybe in the future they come out with something a little bit different. But in order for the product to adhere properly to your nails, so far, a lot of the products, they do have the same ingredients. So just keep that in mind if you guys are wanting to DIY your nails. Figure out if it's worth doing and mastering it at home, or if it is something that, you know what, like, you just have to go and get this done. Because I see a lot of people doing it at home, and honestly, I see it all over their cuticles and things like that. And I see them curing it with the little mini lamps. And honestly, you guys, curing them with the little mini lamps like that, I really don't feel like you're able to kind of penetrate that gel as much as you need to. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, I just want everyone to be mindful of that, just because I don't want you guys to end up being like me and not even being able to wear nails, because I miss my nails, honestly. Every time I do a client's nails, I'm like, I'm living through you guys. I love your nails. And my clients always pick like really cute things. So, for you guys, now back to the tutorial, is you really want to make sure to base coat. Base coat has been my new favorite thing. I know some people are like, are you kidding me? Base coat has been like a thing that's been around forever, blah, blah, blah. But you guys, I feel like with doing art on top of it and stuff, it allows me to put it on smoother, and I just like the outcome of it better. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with it. This is called Dark Matter, and this is from Tracy's nail collection when she had done that glass collection where they had a lot of glass colors and you're able to see through them. Something that I wish we would have done for this set is I definitely wish, instead of using the new tips on this hand, I wish we would have went in with a clear tip, just because I feel like it would have looked, I don't know, I feel like it would have looked cool being completely clear. But this pink that is on the new tip, I do feel like it has a little bit of sheerness to it. So yeah. So normally with this, we would stop at 2 coats with any type of gel, but definitely I like to show it to the client and let them know, like, would you like another coat, or do you like how it looks? And a lot of times, I mean, they're open enough to tell me if they like that or they want another coat. So I kind of leave that up to them. I'm wiping the sides to keep that shape of the nail so that doesn't end up going away and become kind of lumpy and bumpy. I just want it to be nice and smooth. I'm going to have her put it into the light for 60 seconds. And since I went ahead and did that base coat, now I am going to go ahead and go get my dotting tool and put the dots over all of the nails wherever I want my little twinkly stars. And once I am done with that, I'm getting my liner brush. The liner brush that I am using is OPULENCENAILCO, and this is for somebody who really wants a fine detailed nail art brush. This one, the hairs are very thin, so it doesn't have too many hairs in it, and is not super dense. So if you guys are trying to outline and things like that, I personally love it for that. And also with Frenchies, I love it for Frenchies too. But it's a double-sided brush. The other side, it has longer hair, more like a striper brush, and this one is for little things like this. So now I'm gonna go ahead, and when I do these little twinkle stars, I like to start from the center and pull out. I feel like it gives the lines more of a wispier look. It does take a little bit longer just because you have to angle your hands this way and that way to get the outcome that you want. But I promise you guys, if you do it this way instead of pulling into the dot, it is a game changer. I love the way it looks. So definitely keep that in mind when you are doing different types of art. If you want the lines to be wispy at the end, start in the opposite direction. Now with this one, I am going to put black dots, and she did end up feeling like she needed another coat, so we went ahead and added another coat, and we'll pop that into the light again. Okay, and once we are done with that, we are putting that into the light for 60 seconds. And you guys, something that I do want to mention is 60 seconds is pretty much my new go-to unless it's to cure the tips. The tips that are on her finger, just to make sure that I am curing, I put them into the light for 90 seconds twice. So if there's time to put it in there again, I will go ahead and do that. So this is actually a rubber-based gel. It is that milk white one. I am going over the art that I had just did, but just in the center, I am swirling around that milk white, so it almost looks like the stars are glowing, and that is how the picture looked that she had showed me. So of course, I am doing it just like that, and I'm going to go ahead and do it on all of them. But definitely, if you guys don't have dotting tools in your kit, definitely recommend getting some, because for a long time I didn't have dotting tools and it made my job so hard. So I don't know why I would try to hand draw a circle. Alright, you guys, now I'm going to basically do the same thing on this hand. I am going to use the black, and I am going to clean off my dotting tool, use the same size, and I am going to use that same dark matter, and I am going to use that to darken up the centers of the circle. And I am wiping that dispersion layer. I find that a lot of times wiping the dispersion layer for a lot of different gels, I feel like it allows the product to stay put, especially if you're working on all 5 fingers, because a lot of times that dispersion layer, it kind of wants to act as a blooming gel, and it will end up expanding your gel and your art, and it just ends up looking all wonky. And when you do the lines to kind of make the little twinkle stars, you'll go back to the pinky and it ends up looking kind of more like an S instead of a straight line. So definitely wipe them down if it does have a really tacky dispersion layer. And something that I do want to mention before you try to go and look for this black clear gel, the black glass gel, is unfortunately they do not have it anymore. If I do find a dupe of it, I will end up linking it, but sometimes the dupes that I do find, there are things that I might not have tried, so just keep that in mind. It's just things that I find that are similar or that I feel like that could benefit you guys too. So you guys, and now that I am done with this, you guys, I am going to go ahead and put the top coat on off camera. She is going to cure this in the light, and I am going to go ahead and put the little black circle also to make it look like it's glowing. But you guys, this is the final look. We ended up also doing some nail piercings after we did the top coat, and she wanted 2 on one hand and 1 on the other. But let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys really enjoyed today's video. If you guys haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, I'll be back with more videos. Bye!